people who enjoy movies that are so bad they're good, they're enjoying something that emerged from what the creators wanted to do and what their talent level allowed them to make. When you start with a great director, someone who made Deliverance and Point Blank, and you let him loose to come up with an original script and give him $1 million to make it, you might end up with something a lot crazier than Hollywood usually allows. You might end up with a $1 million version of Robot Monster. Or you might end up with Zardoz. John Boorman had a couple conflicting concepts. He just got through trying to make a really crazed version of The Lord of the Rings, which would have been nothing like Peter Jackson's version. It was too expensive. He came up with an idea about a college professor who's in pursuit of a student who's gone missing and ends up in a cult. What he ended up with was Zardoz, made in the backwash of 2001 and Easy Rider. He made something that has legitimate science fiction ideas in it, and it was shot by Jeffrey Unsworth, who shot 2001, and it had Sean Connery as the star. The hero enters, and we do not know his backstory. We don't know why he's doing anything he does until well into the movie. We assume that he is this horrible, violent rapist and murderer who just climbs into the head of his god and goes to what he thinks is paradise. Only later do we realize what exactly he is. While he's inside God's head, he shoots a guy. The guy he shoots isn't just some random stranger. He's actually the engineer of not only the whole plot, but of Sean Connery. Sean Connery's character Zed was manipulated into being born by Arthur Frayne, one of the Eternals, who have survived the apocalypse in this secret location known as the Vortex. And we know there are multiple vortexes. He was engineered to destroy the Tabernacle, which is the computer that keeps the Eternals immortal. All of this was done to end the immortal lives of the people who survived the apocalypse. Now, we go through the movie as it exists, not knowing any of this until nearly the end. If this movie had been told in chronological order, if we knew who Zed was before he went on his mission, we would have some investment in it. We'd want to go with him to see who was making the puppet dance, who manipulated him and his people for all these years. Instead, we get this guy we don't know entering a place we don't know. The people who are there don't know anything about what he's doing. He doesn't know anything about what they're doing. It's an incredible muddle. It has some amazing visual moments, especially with the giant head. I wish they had saved for later in the movie. Instead, we get all the good visual stuff early on. The rest of the movie is just very talky. Telling the story in this convoluted way covers up the fact that it's such a simple story. And the result of Boorman choosing to tell it this way instead of, say, we meet Zed, we see him doing the bad things he does, then we see him finding the book, later realizing he was led by the man who basically created him to destroy a false god. If we were told the story that way, it would actually be a lot closer to a myth. But like Robot Monster, something very strange emerged. This wacky, post-hippie bizarreness. So from the mind of a terrific director who was allowed to make pretty much what he wanted to for $1 million, we get something stranger than if some inept filmmaker had tried to make something impressive. It's just so damn weird.